Hello. So we did a really good job of writing. I have like 23 minutes, I think, left on the clock. I set a timer and that was really helpful. Uh, so yeah, I set a time frame and I wrote that time and I got like a lot done. Like, I think I got, fuck man, just a lot. One, two, it's only 3 pages, but it's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot about character movement. I feel pretty happy about it, to be honest. Like I feel very, like as I was writing it, I found myself smiling at it, and I think that's a great indicator that I was proud of what I was writing, and I was proud of what I was doing, and I really got what I needed out. I got Johnny to a place. Uh, so like in Full Metal Alchemist, in The Last Airbender, they always plant these seeds that later on grow into great payoffs. There's this YouTuber called the local script man, and he talks about that a lot. And I think that during this writing session, that I planted a lot of seeds that will grow into like really good payoffs. Like for example, um, I'm really enjoying this one part where do let me see. Okay. Right. So Johnny talks about how he doesn't want to murder anyone anymore. Like, he doesn't want to kill anyone because he doesn't want to seem like a murderer. He doesn't like the feeling that like killing someone gives him. He doesn't like the feeling that he feels guilty after, but more so, he doesn't like the guilt that comes with killing someone, in a sense where like it's feeding his violent tendencies. He doesn't like that whatsoever. And where is it? Where is it? So he says, I want to take actions that help others indefinitely, not just to get me from A to B. And that is very big. That's a very big realization because later on, Johnny does kill Oliver. He does kill Oliver to give mercy to Oliver and Atticus, because Atticus is only there helping the birds because he was promised that he will be reunited with his brother again. And the birds are obviously lying to Atticus, but Atticus is brainwashed, and so he doesn't see that until Oliver gets killed, and it sets this sequence of events that leads Atticus to look further into things. And Oliver makes Johnny promise him not to tell Atticus what he's become, because it turns out Oliver is the is another step into making another Johnny Blair, and but it's more so on the J side, where Oliver has this really great healing X, and it is the first healing X that can uh, basically leave its body, like leave its host, and into like a machine or something that like can captivate on the energy. So that's really big, and that's a very big thing for the birds. And Johnny takes it away out of mercy for Oliver and Atticus. And then when Atticus finds out that Johnny didn't tell Atticus the reason what Oliver said, when Atticus finds out Johnny didn't tell Oliver, or when Johnny didn't tell Atticus what Oliver said, how he was, what he said in his last dying breath, was because Oliver asked Johnny not to do that. Atticus now has this fundamental respect for Johnny. He sees him as this person that, again, what's the words Johnny used? He sees him as this person that takes actions to help others indefinitely. You know, like he did kill someone again, but he didn't do it for vengeance. He didn't do it for hate. He didn't do it for anger. He wasn't invalid. He did it for the greater good, but in a sense that's not like toxic. So that's a really big thing. And then he talks about, there's another big seed I'm planting right now, how Gadget points out that X is just a tool. It's just this construct that is inside Johnny, but it's only triggered by an emotion that Johnny feels. So what does Johnny feel that brings him into the bloodlusty, uh, feral, hateful, rageful person? Like what is causing the trip in his brain? And Johnny sits there and he realizes that he's in this cell with Gadget and he's just scared that Gadget's gonna die like his mother did, escaping this cell. And he's also scared that he doesn't want to kill anyone. But it's a really good implement for Johnny to realize that it's not that X is a hindrance. It's not that Johnny isn't good enough. It's actually that he has this thing that he can control, right? I think that's what I'm trying to put seeds in, is that Johnny can control this thing. Like, this thing is a controllable thing. This thing isn't like a overall foreseeable thing that will hinder his life forever. It's not. He can still be the person he needs to be. And this thing is just another tool that he can use. And I feel that with my addiction. I feel that for a long time I was very afraid of my addiction. And for a long time I was very, like, I was walking on eggshells with my addiction. And I was just really scared of it. It was like this thing that had like a really good hold on me, and I was very afraid of it. I was very afraid of what it could do, what I could do on it, on drugs, and like what kind of person it made me. And I think, like Johnny with the gauntlets, making him feel bad about who he is, it internalized this conflict in me that I felt bad about who I was and what I've done. And it made me angry. But then I have to ask myself, what is triggering that anger? And that is the fact that I've done really terrible things when I'm high. And I've lied, I've been violent, I've been abusive, I've been just everything that I've hated that my family did, you know? And that's a really hard thing to grasp. But at the same time, my addiction was never the enemy. It was just this protective barrier that I made for myself. And that's what X is to Johnny. X is this protective thing that Johnny has now that isn't this like overwhelming, well, isn't supposed to be this overwhelming emotional construct that just gets him to A to B. It is a tool. It's an indicator of when he's been disrespected, when he's been mistreated, when he feels afraid, when he feels uncomfortable. And he's supposed to act accordingly to that. He's supposed to live in the gray. And that's what I'm trying to learn right now. I'm trying to learn to live in the gray. I'm trying to like not go from, oh, everyone hates me, to like, oh, they all love me. I'm supposed to like live in the middle, you know? And that's what Johnny needs to learn. Johnny needs to learn a lot of just not going from A to B and being emotionally drained from flying up there and coming back down. He needs to just be content. Yeah. It's 104. I believe I have 15 minutes, so that's exciting. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm very happy with my writing, so that's fun. They're going to break out soon, so yeah, cool. This has been fun. We're not done yet this week. Today's only Monday, so we have more recordings to do. But yeah, I'm holding this away because I find I talk really loud. Like right here, it's going from green to yellow. And yellow really indicates that's almost, I don't know why I'm testing it, but it's almost clipping. But I find if I just get right here, because I'm a loudspeaker, because I speak with my diaphragm. Hello, testing. Cool. Have not. I need to fix this because I don't like it. Yeah. Okay. I haven't been recording a lot lately. I have been writing, so that's good. I'm actually on my third book of like notes for Johnny Blair, so that's actually really cool. I was happy to like finish the last book of just notes. So what I do is just what it sounds like. I have a notebook that I keep around, and I write like little uh, story notes for the story, what I want to see, what I want to do, and I write notes for myself, like questions and things. Like the last question I had was, "Is this a Johnny Blair book? Is this book? No, this is projects." I'm very disorganized. One of the questions were, does Johnny Blair go through the 4 seasons of Canada? Because that's kind of interesting. Like, how would they? Because like if they've been living in the woods for so long, then they must understand the cold. So I wonder what that would bring, and like what season are they in now? Have they been that detailed? Maybe I should go back in. These are things I'm just thinking about, and I'm only thinking about this because like it's getting colder now here in Alberta, and it's gonna snow soon. So that's something I think about. Is that something they're gonna think about? Obviously, right? Like snow's not no joke. It's a dangerous element. Uh, I did get out of my little writing rut. I did start writing more Johnny Blair, not just sitting there with the notebook. So that felt really good to do. Yeah. Johnny describes that he doesn't want to wear these gauntlets anymore because they make him feel bad. They make him feel controlled. They make him feel monitored. They are a reminder of that he isn't in the position he wants to be. I find that I have that problem a lot where I spiral and get angry and get anxious, where I kind of look at myself and I kind of think like I'm not where I want to be right now, and I'm running out of time to be where I'm at right now, I know it's going to sound dumb, but it's like I'm 29 right now and I want to finish this all in like 5 years. I gave myself, I think, a 5-year plan. And that being said, it's like in 5 years I'll be 35. Like, holy shit. Like, what will my financial situation look like? What will my environment situation look like? All these things are uh, things I think about. And maybe I am comparing myself to others because I get kind of worried that's like, man, these guys are doing such cool things. These other dudes are doing such cool things. Then there's the other spectrum where it's like, man, this looks like shit, but like they get so many likes and views and blah, blah. But at the same time, I'm not like, that's the problem. It's like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything that is universally meaningful until it gets recognition. I feel like it's meaningful to me, and that's what makes it so painful. But yeah, so I feel like that's also projected onto Johnny Blair, where he feels like if he doesn't do his best every day, and he's not on point every day, and he's not the best person he can be every day, then he's not doing what he needs to be doing. He's a failure until he gets what he wants, his goals. But then it's interesting because, like, at the end of the book, how I have it written is Johnny Blair, what is that? Sorry, I'm using my field monitor and I just saw this like weird screen that has like squiggles. I think it's a color monitor. Cool. Weird. And so Johnny Blair, at the very end, he basically defeats Veronica by like letting go of all his worries and frustrations. He just does it for someone else and not for himself. And he lets go of Jay, and that's a big thing because Jay is the manifestation. Not being able to let go. That's what Jay is. Jay is a symbol of that. She is the resentment and guilt he has that he needs to learn to let go. And by doing so, he defeats Veronica. And we've talked about this before, but Veronica is his other side. Veronica is everything he wants. So by forgiving Veronica, he is essentially forgiving himself. And then when he lets go of Jay and then keeps forgiving Veronica, he is able to be the person he needs to be. So it's kind of like I need to let go of a lot of resentments, and it's hard. I feel like I let go of things like every week or so, but it's like one thing, it's one thing at a time. And I get frustrated because like I read, I don't read, but I write Johnny Blair and I like see how slow he is at like just letting go and doing better. And it frustrates me. It's like, man, this guy needs to fucking go faster. Like, why is he so slow? Just calm the fuck down. Like, it's not that hard. And then I look at myself, I'm like, man, it is hard. It is that hard. Like, I spent all day yesterday just being mad at stupid shit. Like, things that could happen, things that have happened. And I just get angry and mad. And I just like snowball into this like spiral of hate, basically. And then, I don't know. And then the day before, I was fine. That's the thing. And I guess like I get mad at Johnny because it's like he is one day really good and he's being great and he's like the likable character I want him to be. Then the next moment, he's like this annoying, needy, traumatized baby. And I'm like, oh my God, my guy, you need to calm the fuck down. And then I think that's unrealistic. And I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm that baby. Because like yesterday, I was mad. Okay, before yesterday, I was happy and I was okay and yada yada. Then in the morning, I kept it going and I was like, yeah, going to do good today. We're going to have a good time. Things are going to go well. Yada yada yada. All those things I'm mad about. Don't be mad about. And then I spent the entire work day at my day job, like being angry at the shit that I said I wasn't going to be mad at. And then today, I feel fine. It's like, fuck. I don't think I'm bipolar. I don't think that's not me. I I no. I think it'd be worse. I think it'd be worse if I was bipolar. I don't think that's my um diagnosis to give myself, and I think me being like I'm so bipolar, I think like that would be disrespectful to the people that actually have it. Like you ever like have an OCD moment that's like and you're like, "Oh man, I don't like when my food touches." Like that's not very OCD. Like have you ever seen people with OCD? They're like they will think their life is ruined if they don't like turn it off and on the lights. Like it's fucking crazy. I met this guy that he said that he can't go through doorways he has to go through doorways twice to go through them. I'm like, what? That would be an insane way to live. Like that's OCD. So like I think like what I'm going through is just like changes in life. Like I used to have this like I still do, but I used to live this addictive life where like everything that mattered was cocaine and that was it. It was just that, and all I had to do was that, and I was happy and I was content and yada yada yada. I wasn't happy, but it felt like I was happy. And then I got kicked out of that, and then I worked in this fucking hotel, which was the worst thing in the world. I was getting emotionally, mentally, verbally abused like every fucking day. I had to call the cops on my general manager because he slapped me in the face. It was like all bad, right? And I was like alone in this hotel room for like 2 years by myself. And that was it. I just like woke up, went to the gym, woke up, went to work, went to the gym, went back to work. And then that's it. I didn't have a car, so I couldn't see many of my friends. I felt like very hermited. And then I think like me living at the hotel brought me back I think the way I was in the hotel, very like standoffish, defensive, paranoid that everyone hated me because like I was getting abused. I think that like it came with me to Edmonton when like I came back because like I'm still paranoid that everyone hates me, people are out to get me. And I think that goes with Johnny Blair. Like Johnny, he's very paranoid that everyone hates him because he lived most of his life being afraid of like the next day, like what's going to happen, things like that. He's always afraid of who's going to die in his life. And I'm afraid of being alone in my life, even though I make myself alone. I have people inviting me to things and I get worried that they hate me. So I'm like, no. No. Well, I had Johnny Blair come to the conclusion that he doesn't want to kill anymore. He isn't that kind of person, and it makes him feel bad, and that makes sense because like when I get like in a rageful, hateful thing, I imagine hurting people that hurt me. I have this like wrath that I just want to like it's not like I want them dead, but I want them like to feel I want them to feel as traumatized as they made me. That's what I want. I want them to remember. And that just comes from like me being traumatized and then like them not uh them like brushing it off like it was nothing. I hate that because it's like if it was nothing to traumatize me, then why did you make it as such a big deal? You know what I mean? Because like when I was a kid, this is like crazy to talk about, but when I was a kid, my sister would bring over dudes, like not dudes, but like friends over. Some of them were dudes, and my grandpa would come home and get mad, and he'd beat the shit out of me because like I didn't call him. And so this one time, I called my grandpa, and then my sister beat the shit out of me, and then he came home and he beat the shit out of me. And then sometimes I bring that up today, and like their excuse is like, "We didn't put you in the hospital." It's like, man, and then that gets in my head, and I'm like, man, if I, not to like boast, but I can bench now, not as a kid, but like I can bench now, like 210 pounds. Okay, I'm very strong. I can literally overpower both of them at the same time now. Right? My grandpa's like 80. My sister's small and frail. And she's like, I don't know, she's tiny now compared to me. And so it's like, if I did what they did, they would not let me make the excuse, well, I didn't put you in the hospital, you know? And I think about that, and that goes in my brain because like when I was a kid, that trauma of being paranoid of these two around me, it like carries on words, right? And now my sister and my grandpa, they try to like come into my life, and it's really hard to like advocate in my brain that's like it's okay to let them in because like I'm worried about that consequence, right? I'm worried about my first instinct when my family talks to me is like I am ready to physically defend myself because I'm so used to them physically or verbally coming at me. Like I'm just ready. I'm like, okay, this is it. Huh, you know? And that's what Johnny Blair has to fight through. Johnny Blair has to fight through a lot of like he's always ready to be defensive against attacks when something goes wrong. And Gadget asks him what is making him so angry. Why does this bring him there? And then Johnny says, well, it's the X. And then Gadget says, I don't think that's it. I think that's an excuse. I think that is X is just a tool created to bring you to where your body and brain thinks you need to be. But I think it's up to you to figure out what triggers or trips that X component. And that goes a lot with me where it's like when I get angry or mad at when I get angry and paranoid about my friends asking me to hang out and I'm like, oh man, they hate me. They're going to like do this. They're going to bring this up. Oh my God. Da, da, da. Like what am I actually getting mad at? What is triggering that? And it's not anger because that's just like a lame excuse. It is me feeling guilty and scared of being alone, and me feeling like a burden. And then when I feel those things, it festers into anger because that's my safe space. And then I attack them mentally with that. I'm like, okay, we are ready. We are ready to go. If anyone comes at me, I am ready. And that's what Johnny Blair does. Johnny Blair, after he gets captured, he feels a immense amount of guilt and hate for people, for Gadget, for Atticus, for Veronica, definitely. And then they talk it out, and Johnny realizes he's not angry, he's just scared of being alone. He's scared of losing Gadget. And then Gadget says, I'm right here though. Like we're here together. And it's nice because like I tend to just like yesterday, my friend, she's amazing. She invited me to this show, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And then I had a moment like, no, I can't go because of this and because of that, because I feel paranoid, blah, blah. And I just told her what was up. And then she told me she loved me and she told me she cared. And then she said that no worries, just like be safe. And it was really nice. Because in my head, I thought she was going to hate me, right? I thought she was going to hate me for like saying no to her. But it's all in my head, man. And Johnny needs to learn that. Johnny needs to learn like it's all in his head. Like all this craziness is in his head. None of this is real. No one is out to get him. And I think that really goes into Veronica and Johnny's interactions because like Johnny has this like uh he's always feeling like Veronica is going to kill him and like she's out to get him. But whenever Veronica talks to Johnny, she doesn't notice him. She doesn't care about him. He is so low in the totem pole of like what she wants that he's not a person. So all this like angst and jealousy and betrayal Johnny feels for Veronica is kind of not really there because she doesn't know him. She doesn't even realize he's there, which is crazy. But that's Veronica. She just cares about Gadget and Ben. That's it. I love a little Atticus. But then that goes in the last scene where Veronica makes fun of Johnny Blair for having the name for writing his name Blair, and she's like it should be Blare as Blair because you control the energy of sound, you idiot. And then Johnny goes into this thing about loving her, and I think I talked about this before. I'll talk about it again. But then later in that monologue from him saying Veronica that he forgives her, he says, "Oh yeah, Blair, that's my mom's name." So it's like Veronica's downfall and her undermining Johnny comes into fruition when Johnny accepts that he is not the most important person in the world. Like, not everyone is thinking that they hate him. Because I feel like when I um, think that people hate me, think people are out to get me, that I am now making myself revolve around their world. But in reality, it's like I'm not revolving around their world. And like my rage fantasies in my head, they're not going to play out like I think they're going to play out. They're just going to be a blimp of like that was fucking crazy, but it won't do the consequences that has done to me, you know? But yeah, they're about to escape the undergrounds. Maybe I'll make it like a little thing, kind of like in the Legend or the Last Avatar where they're in the undergrounds. That was cool. Those are cool little episodes. Yeah, cool. I'm looking at the field monitor, by the way. I'm not looking at like a script. I'm just. Whoo. I barely use this thing. I bought this thing for a short film called Mania. And I do use it for some things, but it's good to have. It's nice to have because I can see. Cool.